extends one of its arms, it releases a tiny, looks like a bird, and it is barreling towards you at a tremendous speed. And it does a couple of loops in the air first, and then it veers right towards all of you and just goes right towards everybody. So everybody give me an initiative check really quick.
I have, don't forget I have danger sense. So anytime there's things that are nearby, I can have advantage on dexterity saving throws or against effects that originate within 30 feet of me, such as a trap or a spellcaster within range.
Sounds good. If I need you to do a roll, I'll let you know when you can have that with advantage. So,
okie doke.
Give me an initiative check for now, Donk.
All right, trying to find what that is on the thing. Here it is. I found it.
And Urka, have you landed down with your companions, or are you still kind of up in the air?
You know, I was wondering. I wasn't sure if you had called me back down or not, and I was going to say,
well,
if he threw this little bird-like thing out of his hand, is it something like I could really zoom in on and snap in my mouth?
Well, it just depends. Are you on the ground or are you up in the air still?
No, I gotcha. No, I noticed when my companions come up as well, I started soaring down to them.
Okay, so as you kind of loop down and land with your companions, you see this construct type of humanoid figure, extend its arm. This looks like a mechanical bird or a sparrow or something like that, and it actually makes a beeline for you, Urka, and it hits you, and it just kind of sticks into your, it gets kind of tangled up in your feathers and stuff. So it's not like you take any damage or anything like that. It just kind of stuck into your feathers, which is, it's kind of weird. It's like a little weird contraption, something like this that this creature had done. And as the creature extends his hand, the sparrow comes out. You guys see this bird come down, and when you look up, the figure is gone. It looks like the figure kind of protruded back on the rooftop to where it's out of your immediate sight.
I'm gonna flap my wings up in the air and start screaming like a girl. I mean, like, get it off, get it off, get it off.
And then I will take it, like, jump to the side away from it and yell, "Fireball!"
Oh my gosh! Oh, are you gonna throw a fireball bead? I love it.
No. I think it's another fireball that.
Because I gotcha. Yeah.
Throwing at Eric.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot less dangerous than a bead from a necklace of fireballs. But yes, all that happens basically is this little mechanical sparrow, maybe about 4, 5, 6 inches or so in diameter with the wingspan and everything. Yeah, it just kind of gets tangled up in Urka's feathers. Doesn't do any damage, doesn't explode, doesn't catch fire, doesn't squirt grease all over her or whatever. It just gets tangled up in her feathers. And, Urka, you were able to free the sparrow. And
so Dantes he's like on the side of the road, with his head, covering his head, all prone.
Just waiting for an explosion, right?
And then kind of looks up and, oh, okay, I guess not.
I want to jump back up in the air real quick and see if I can spot any remnants of where Puppet Guy might be.
Sure. Yeah, so as you get the little mechanical sparrow untangled, it flaps its wings a couple more times, and then it just kind of falls apart into a bunch of, pieces of metal shards, springs, a couple springs go shooting off, bang, a couple bolts, etc. That, and then you're just like, oh, what a piece of crap, And then you take off, and you're scouring the rooftop of the Temple of Gond, and you do not see this figure anywhere.
It's like he poofed.
I guess it wasn't nearly as dangerous as a fireball. And I'll pick up
you do have the necklace of fireballs now, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I do have an intelligence of 8, so you know. So I'll pick up, Dantes will pick up all the parts and pieces of this little bird contraption.
I kind of look around at the party and I'm like, Gond, isn't that like the god of like gnomes and tinkerers and stuff?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe they know who the gnome was.
Yeah.
I want to, if I can't find any remnants of this guy, I want to go back to and land where he was perching at the Temple of Gond. Maybe get an idea of where he was sitting and if there was anything he might have left behind, anything that he might have dropped by accident.
Now, first glance and kind of looking around Urka, there's really nothing, no remnants of him leaving behind anything.
So as we walk up closer to the temple, I'll shout up at Urka, "Hey, let's use the front door. That's what we do here, bird lady."
We don't have a cleric here in the party, right?
I'm a cleric.
Okay.
Well, we mean except for you.
That's right. Well, Epter, you would know that Gond is definitely the lord of all smiths and had a high influence on Rock Gnomes communities and societies. And Gond is kind of spread all across the land of the Forgotten Realms and Faerun. So
yeah, it's called Gondoria.
Basically, the followers of Gond are... they're good, and they're people of a neutral status and a good status.
Yeah, I believe I once knew a gnome that talked about Gond all the time. He was the most annoying little dude running around creating little contraptions and all kinds of stuff. So that's interesting.
Yeah, he was the god of the smiths and crafters and creators and stuff like that. Yeah, craft and smith work, etc.
But
So
why bird attack me? Why bird attack Donk?
And the symbol, it maybe because it didn't think it could maybe penetrate your large hide, but yeah, the symbol is like a cogwheel with 4 points on it, and like I said, you've seen that all throughout the temple area.
Okay, so we've got a dead gnome recently that was being chased by 2 people that was attacked by this construct puppet that's living on top of a known gnome deity's temple. Is that about right?
I'll got it
there. So Donk's listening to you, and he's like rubbing his chin, his stubbly beard, and you can hear it crackle like sandpaper. And I'm like trying to piece it all together with my just enormous intelligence. Don't think could be suicide.
I think that noise that you heard was the one gear inside your head.
That's shorting out.
Yeah, he keeps getting this look on his face like he's about to figure it out, but then like, oh no, he goes back to thinking, and then like,
yeah,
oh no.
Butterflies. Butterfly.
His symbol of Gond only has 1 point on it, though.
That's right. Donk had Gondoria. Spread all over nation.
I need to get that cricket noise again. Wah, 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 wah. But the temple does seem like it's abuzz. I mean, the doors are open and there's people coming in and out. And
did the people happen to notice? I mean, that there was a giant sparrow and a puppet?
None that you had seen, no. But you guys were distinctively looking for it too. So, but yeah, I mean, there's some other people around that worshipers and whatnot are just kind of standing back surveying the beauty of the temple. But no, nobody had seen, the sparrow come down and hit Urka or anything now. I mean, they heard Urka screaming, as she got hit and, pulling it out of her feathers and whatnot. So they were just kind of looking at you guys like, whoa, these individuals are unique. Boy, look at this hodgepodge of people in a group.
Yeah, and then I have that ability, that feature. It's called All Eyes on You, where my appearance marks me as foreign, of course, right? and so curious glances are directed my way whenever I go. Says it can be a nuisance, but also can get the friendly interest of scholars and other people that are intrigued by far-off lands and want to hear stories of my homeland. I haven't had an opportunity to really use it. Maybe in the bar I could have, but not right now. I don't have the opportunity. I just wanted to throw that your way as a reminder.
That was from the. You get that because of Tupac. All eyes on me. Never mind. That was stupid.
Yeah, that's right. It was Tupac. I did have it, but then Biggie came along, and now I don't have it anymore.
Oh, too soon.
Too soon. Okay.
They're still alive with Elvis.
Too soon? It's been like 2 decades?
Yeah. They're on an island.
That hologram. We don't,
Hologram?
You remember the Tupac hologram that they did in concert?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I must have missed that, Donk.
Well, that's because you have a life, Dave. I mean, if you spend all your time watching TV like I do. Well, anyway, I guess what I'm going to do, though, is so I've been rubbing my beard trying to figure things out, but I decide to just go in. So I kind of straighten my tattered, dirty, disgusting clothes and line things up a little bit and let the flies kind of buzz out and straighten myself up and roll up my sleeves and start heading inside. But before I go in, I'm going to look over at everybody. I'm going to go, don't go in. Follow.
You kind of pat over the last 5 hairs on the top of your head, too.
That's right. Lick it like with my ginormous tongue. But it's not just wet. It's like that slimy mucus that appears sometimes, and that streaks those hairs back. But mostly it's not really hairs on top of my head. It's really long eyebrow hairs. So that's not good.
That is
Don't
disgusting.
Look hot. Let's go in now. Come on, Dante. Birdie.
Oh yeah, we're all going in, and I'm keep my eye out for someone who's an usher or a priest there, because we obviously don't know what we're doing here as we visit. So
yeah, and
sure.
I'm not
going to go in the main door and slip over.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kind of just tell you, I'm not gonna have my weapons out, but they are on my body. But I am at the ready to grab my axe at the slightest sign of
fucking Donk going in there with his fucking hands on his axe into a temple and stuff, into a good and neutral temple. I love it.
But it's more like, it's not really like they're on. I'm not like smart, but I'm worldly. So I know not to grab my actual axe handle. Instead, my hands are like hovering a couple of feet above it. Right? It's like I'm ready to grab it, but I'm actually not touching it, but I'm getting ready to.
You're just waiting for that humanoid construct to come out, aren't you?
Exactly. As soon as something pops up, I'm going to grab that axe and I'm just going to freaking just wail.
Sure. Yeah, you can see as you guys walk into the Temple of God. Also, Urka, did you come back down and join your party members to go inside of the temple?
I'm a little upset this little puppet guy has evaded me twice. I'm sticking out on this perch. I'm keeping an eye out outside.
That sounds good. So I'll make a mental note as you're kind of still hovering up above the temple. So as everyone else goes inside of the temple, it's a buzz. I mean, there's all kinds of worshipers in there. You can see a lot of acolytes walking around. You can see the sign. The sign says that
Was it Wednesday, Dave? Because Wednesday's church night.
It could be a Wednesday, sure. And it says the Temple of Gond is open until sunset, and all worshipers are welcome of all faiths. And like I said, there's plenty of worshipers in there. There's plenty of folks in there just kind of acknowledging the 12 or 24 marble pedestals that are holding up this beautiful temple. And each one of these marble pedestals kind of catches your attention because each one, there's little signs, and these are all prize-winning inventions or little miniature models of some type of extraordinary type of creation. And, as you're kind of walking through the marble pedestals and just taking it back and kind of just, you're just in awe of all of these, something that you really haven't seen before, of all these works and creations and stuff. So, in one of the marble pedestals, there's a 4-foot tall working model of a clock that basically, as you guys walk in, as you walk past this thing rings too. So as you see the hand hit the top of the hour, it's made of wood, iron, bronze, glass. There's all kinds of bells and cogs spinning around, and this thing is made of solid gold. So this thing would definitely be worth a lot of money, probably almost priceless. And this thing is 4 foot tall. And as you guys walk past it, yeah, you walk past it and it just starts kind of ringing a song that you've heard, whether it be in a bar or whatever.
Okay, so it's not like a surprise ring, like a phone would go, like an alarm that would make
no, it's
me
like
smash
a
it.
no, it's
just
like
a song.
A song that that the clock is playing. And in another one of the, as you guys are still walking down this, you're just taken back and you're just like taking it in and you're going, wow, this is actually really cool. There's in one of the marble pillars, there's a wooden flying machine, and its wings are flapping, and it kind of goes airborne inside of the container that's in this pillar. So when you walk by, the wings start flapping on this, and it becomes airborne. And then the wings, kind of guide it back down, and then it settles, and then the wings kind of retract back into it and stuff.
So I
cool.
point to Urka, and then I point
she's outside.
Okay.
She's outside.
So then I point to everybody. I go, look, everybody, Urka. Like I made a funny, like.
God.
Yeah, Doc. Yeah, looks
that
just
good
like her.
one.
Looks just
Someone that know how to write down that good one.
I love Donk. So as you walk a little bit further into the temple, there's in one of the other pedestals, there's a miniature model of a mechanical dragon turtle, and it has a brass plate that's affixed to it, and it says Big Belchy sank in Deepwater Harbor on the Day of Wonders in 1363. So it's basically a big, brass dragon turtle. Says that Big Belchy sank in Deepwater Harbor, 1363 DR. And another one of the pedestals, there's a functional. Basically, it's a helmet, and it has a bunch of small articulated metal arms and hands that are on the helmet. And basically, what happens is if you wear this helmet, it's called the waking helmet. And if you fall asleep, all these little hands and arms and stuff will slap you if you fall asleep. So it's just a crazy little contraption.
Touch these things?
No, they're all in like sealed cases that are within the marble pedestals. Yeah.
I wanted to see if this helmet would fit my ginormous noggin.
This definitely probably wouldn't fit you. But if it did, it would be, you'd have to like really crunch it down and squeeze it on. It might, but yeah, it's.
So I'm gonna point to that. I'm gonna tell everybody who Donk want for birthday. Donk want for birthday.
There's
when is even your birthday?
That's expensive. You find out how much it's gonna cost. I don't know if they're for sale or what. But then you see another model of a little red submarine, and this submarine is shaped because it's also filled with water as well. So it's like this red submarine that's shaped like a manta ray, and it's called the Scarlet Marpenoth, and it basically says that this miniature submarine is it's just it's a scaled down version of the real thing, and it says launched in 1489. So, but those are, and then there's a lot of other trinkets and gadgets and stuff that are in the pillars. And if you guys see any in particular, let me know what you guys see as well, because like I said, there's 24 of these marble pedestals, and there's just inventions and little models all over the place. So does anybody see in particular that they like?
So I think that as I'm looking around, I think one of the things that must really hold on to my attention is like 6 spheres suspended by what looks like wire. And as one sphere smashes into the line of the other spheres, that sphere at the end pops backwards, and then it goes back and smashes back into them, and then it pops backwards again. And it just keeps doing that, making a click clack sound. And there's maybe like 10 people just standing there, totally immersed, staring at that spheres on the line, getting click clack, click clack. And then I get a little nervous that I'm being hypnotized, so I shake myself and move on.
Ooh.
There's another one that is about this, 3-4 feet tall, all made of shiny metal, and it's got a place for you to put your wine bottle in it, and there's an automatic corkscrew that will pop out the cork there, and it'll tip it over, and it'll just spill the wine all over the place.
Nice. Spill wine right into a cup, yeah, I like it.
Well, that's the idea, that you have the glass in the right spot, but it's an automatic wine pouring mechanism. The auto tender is what they call it.
I like it. Anybody see anything else?
Mine was called the ball whacker.
So as you guys are just taken back and appreciating all of these different inventions and trinkets and models and stuff, a dragonborn, one of the priests of the Temple of Gone comes up to you and is a dragonborn, and she welcomes you to the Temple of Gond. And Wookrath, you can actually tell that she has probably bronze dragon ancestry, just by the way that the color of her scales and the color of her eyes and the texture of her skin and scales and stuff. So bronze ancestry. Introduces herself as Valletta, and she says that she is one of the head acolytes or priests here at the temple, and she was acknowledging you coming in. She says, is there something that we can do for you?
Well, I hope there is, and I'll hand her the bits of broken bird and the springs and all the stuff that I had gathered up from that flying sparrow or whatever it was, and I'll just kind of pour it into her. So yeah, this
you pour it into her hand. Nice.
Yeah, this thing kind of attacked us on the way in.
Birdie broken.
You or what's where this come?
She looks at all of the pieces, and she just kind of takes a kind of looks over towards you, kind of looks back down at all of the pieces and the parts in her hand, kind of looks over at you again, and she kind of lets out a sigh, and she says, this must be one of the inventions of one of the Nimblewrights that lives here at the Temple of Gond. This must have been made by Nim, N-I-M. Nim, she says, Nim is a Nimblewright, and he was gifted to our temple by a very powerful Lantanese wizard. And she says, if you would like to speak, she says, is Nim in any kind of trouble? She says, why would he?
I don't know. Does he get into trouble a lot?
No, he is confined to his workshop up at the top of the temple.
I don't think he's confined anymore.
Can I get a insight check on that?
Sure, you can go ahead and drop it into the tower for me. And she says, and why would you say that? And she notices that you are also a cleric of faith as well, Epter.
What is a Nimblewright, actually?
Yeah, pardon, lizard lady. Donk also needs understanding of Nimblewright. Kind of straighten my shirt. Trying
she
to be all
says that,
fancy.
well, Nimblewrights, they are created, and they are magical. They are magical constructs, and they are created to serve. She says they're composed predominantly of lightweight woods and are put together with the power of magic, and they can basically pass for humanoids, if they wear clothing and whatnot.
So
Some wear
Magic
clothing,
wood
some
boy?
don't. Yeah.
So do these Nimblewrights answer to someone in particular, or are they pets, or are they what?
They are
How do
basically
they?
servants of the temple, and if there's some of these trinkets that you see in the marble pedestals are have been created by Nim, and she kind of shows you just a couple of things that Nim has created. Nothing that has any kind of relevance or anything like that, but they're gifted with crafting abilities.
Very
And
interesting.
then she looks at the bird and she says, "This was created by Nim as well." So I'm kind of, and she, like I said, she took a sigh. She says, I wonder what he's been up to. But she says that he's supposed to stay here at the temple.
Would it be possible to talk to Nim?
Oh, absolutely. I hope he's in no sort of trouble or anything like that. But yes, please, follow me. And she takes you through the main part of the temple and up a very tall spiral staircase up to the top, basically up to the attic. And she kind of looks back at all of you as she's leading you, and she says, yes, he lives in the attic. And as you guys get to the top, she goes to grab the knob of the door to turn it, and it's locked. And she breaks out a key ring, and she tries to fit a couple keys into the lock, and she says, it seems like Nim's door is fitted with a new lock. And she knocks on the door and says, Nim.
Donk
Nim.
have key. And then I thumb my axe. Donk have big key. Open any door.
She says, no, my friend, please do not. This temple is very old. It would be impossible to replace this door with the wood that it's constructed from. Please, my friend, do not break the door down. She says, and then she knocks on the door and she says, Nim, it's Priestess Valletta. You have some visitors. And there's no type of sound that comes from inside the room. And she just continues to knock every once in a while.
Now, do you mean
saying,
no type of sound like
me.
it's magically silent? Or
no, as
no
in
like
no response from them or anything like
All right,
that.
got it.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I was just thinking there was a cone of silence or something around there, which could.
No. Nope. No, good. That's a good idea though, but no, it's just there's no response from Nim. And as you're circling up above the temple still, Urka, you don't see anything. I mean, it's just everything looks good.
I'm gonna push my way in. I'm sorry, Woocraft, go ahead.
Is there any windows, like around the room?
There's all kinds of windows in the temple, but as you're going up the staircase is sort of like in the back of the temple, but there's really no windows that are in arm reach because of just the way that the spiral staircase is made. But yeah, but yes, there are plenty of windows. There's all kinds of beautiful stained glass, so there's all kinds of different shades of light from the sun that's coming through the windows and stuff. It's actually very beautiful inside there. But no windows that you can actually, while you're on the staircase or in the hall in the attic, to where there's really no windows. No.
Well, I kind of want to push my way into his room and take a look around. What's the clearance on that? Because remember, I'm like 8'3" or something.
Yeah, well, it's your standard door, probably about 6 foot, a little bit over 6 foot, maybe 6.5.
No, I mean
you're definitely
going to need the attic.
Well, you're not in the attic, so you're at the door to the attic. But yes, you can get in. But she says, I wonder why. I wonder why Nim is not answering. She says, the keys are not working. It seems like the lock has been changed and a new lock has been put on. Is there any way that maybe possibly you guys could open the door without? And she looks at you, Donk, and she says, without destroying the door.
Oh, let me think. And then I'm getting out my bag. No.
She says, well, I guess I could call a locksmith really quick.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any.
Any
lock pickers with us.
Donk could try to just tap lock very calmly with axe handle.
She just pats you on the shoulder and she says, I think we'll just call a locksmith. So about a half an hour goes by as you guys are kind of waiting and stuff, and you guys are, you go back down and you kind of acknowledge. So you basically have enough time to check out all of the different inventions and stuff that are in all of the marble pillars, and then a locksmith gets there, and she works the magic of the lock picks, the tools and the mirrors and stuff like that, and the door gets opened. So, Valletta kind of looks at you and says, would any of you like to make a contribution to the temple to help pay for this?
Oh, don't contribute. And then I'm going to reach into my bag of snacks and goodies and drop a couple of eyes into her hand, for a snack.
She says,
Quite
"Oh no,
delicious eyes."
She says,
Num.
"We'll go ahead and we'll take care of this, sweet Donk." She just kind of pats you on the shoulder and she says, "You keep your eyeballs. We'll take care of it." And she hands the locksmith a couple of gold. And he's actually gracious that he got a couple of gold. And she says, "You keep the rest for yourself. Thank you for your time." And the locksmith.
And then I whisper to Dante, "I keep eye on her."
Good job, Don. Good job. Oh my gosh. I'll push into the room as soon as it's open.
So yeah, you guys get the door open.
Nim, we want to talk to you.
Yeah, and as you walk in, Dante and everybody else, I mean, the attic is an attic. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff just stacked up to the ceiling, probably about 10 to 12 foot, and it has an arc to the top of the roof. It's not just a flat ceiling. It's kind of the roof kind of arcs up. So at its peak, it's probably about 15 feet, and there's just stuff thrown all over the place. I mean, so much clutter is in here. And then off to one side, there's like a little work table. There's also a bed and stuff like that. And as you guys are coming out, and Dante, as you say, Nim, we want to talk to you, you can see some stuff in the back of the attic that kind of is shuffling around, and a couple of things fall, and from all of this rubble, this construct appears. And yes, it is the same construct that you had seen that was perched on top of the rooftop. And Valletta looks over at you and says, "He does not speak, but he can understand when he's spoken to, but he knows a sign language, and I will have to communicate that through you. He will have to communicate that through me, and I'll tell you what he's saying."
So I'll kind of approach him a little bit, get a little bit closer, and I'll say, "Nim, why'd you kill the gnome?"
And he emerges and he kind of looks at all of you and he apologizes for the bird. He says he felt as if he was threatened, and he says through Valletta, and this is all going through Valletta, sign language and etc. Valletta tells you he did not hurt anyone. He stays here at the temple, and he doesn't know what you're talking about.
So, Dave, I just want to point out that while everybody's talking to this dude, I'm going to slowly shut the door, just in case he wants to make a run for it. I want this door to be kind of closed. And being a giant, super deluxe, fat Goliath, I'm going to just stand in front of the door, which also will be kind of a good block.
Okay. Yeah, and you can also notice that there's a like a wooden ladder that's attached to the wall, and it goes up to the roof to where